Federal agencies are now revealing an Iranian national with terror ties was caught illegally crossing the U.S. northern border and remained in the country for 6 weeks before being removed. It comes as ICE reports 139 known or suspected terrorists were detained by the department in the last fiscal year. That number more than doubling fiscal year 2022. Tom Feeley is the former director of New York's ICE removals, and he joins us now. Tom, thank you for joining us today. So this arrest highlights what we all know, that there are bad guys, terrorists, trying to get into our country. We also know that this is a highly volatile period of time in the world, with wars and people angry at us all over the place. So how worried are you that there could be terror cells forming right now and bad people coming in and potentially pulling off something very deadly?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. The southern border is more of the sexy border, if you will. It gets all the attention. It gets all the resources. And from a strategical point of view, if you look at Canada, Canada has some very liberal refugee and asylum policies that allow people to more easily gain access to Canada than the United States, so to speak. So a lot of people who want to come here and do harm to us actually come to Canada and then sneak across the northern border that just doesn't have that many resources. And I can't get into too much detail, obviously, but I can tell you the New York ports of entry see more nefarious people, probably, I think a lot more than people would probably suspect without, giving up too many secrets.
Yeah, that's so scary. And we know that there are record numbers of known terrorists that we've caught. We don't know how many are here that we haven't caught. And we know there are hundreds of thousands of gotaways. Those are people that are trying to evade us and not turn themselves in to the Border Patrol. You also expressed concern that this individual, the specific individual, that this man that with links to terrorism that was caught, that he was not held longer for questioning.
Well, again, I don't really know the specifics of it, and we don't want to really get into what the processes are for ICE dealing with these individuals that come from foreign countries that have terroristic ties. The period does seem a little short. Hopefully, the intel agencies did get an opportunity to interview him and ascertain some more information. And like I've said before on Fox News, I know there's terrorist organizations and cells here. Unfortunately, I've had the opportunity to interview some of them, including Hamas. And it's just really concerning that with a wide open border, and I don't think any argument can be made that there isn't one, we have no idea who's coming in. People keep mentioning gotaways. How do you know you had 10,000 gotaways? Because you didn't catch them. So, is it a marble bowl and you're trying to guess how many are in there for a prize? They're here, and a scenario as simple could be, say you take 20 American cities, 5 terrorists in each city, which is very, very low number, and just say they decide to, do what they did in Israel, like Hamas did, just driving around neighbors and start shooting and killing innocent people. That would literally, the wheels of American society would come off, and it would be absolutely devastating to us. And it's a real possibility.
Yeah, and they don't seem to care. They really don't seem to care. Whatever their policy is, whatever this borderless world they want to create, or collapsing our system through this illegal immigration, whatever it is, matters to them more even than the politics of a possible terror attack. They are hell-bent on doing this. Last word on what you think should happen, or what can happen.
I really don't understand what the end game is with this administration. I mean, you can say it's kind of tongue in cheek. We're importing, Democrat voters, but in most places, everybody knows it's a constitutional issue. Illegal aliens can't vote or shouldn't be voting. And I really just don't know what the end game is. I mean, are you really trying to destroy the United States of America? Because you couldn't have a bigger example of a Trojan horse than what we have going on right now.
I think you nailed it. There's no other explanation. It just does not make sense. And I agree. This is much bigger than some, voting scheme to get more Democrat voters. It's much bigger. I think it's global. And I think we've already seen that whether it's the UN, these other countries that are participating, the WEF, the WHO, this is a globalist plot to do this. And the NGOs. We can't forget about that. Tom
Right.
Feeley, thank you for joining us. Frightening, but important to be aware of what's happening.
Thanks for having me. Have a great new year.
Absolutely. You too. Happy New Year.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.